guys, welcome to my Saturday live video. I'm going to be making a fun card today, but I do not have the example because I decided to make this tutorial after I had made a card for my mum and my dad for their 60th and 70th birthday, and I thought, oh, you know what, that'd be cool to teach. So I made the cards. I've given them away, but I'm going to make another one. So I don't. You'll have to wait till the end to see the finished card, which I'm really excited to show you how to make. So I hope you're all having a lovely month. Obviously these videos are pre-recorded because I'm away in May, but I have been really excited to still share and keep on sharing these cards that I make every week. So I hope you're enjoying the pre-recorded videos. And I love all the comments that you guys have been giving me, and I've been trying to respond to them as they come in. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Kayla and I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator living on the northwest coast of Tasmania, Australia. I've been card making for about 20 years, or paper crafting, and one of my favourite things to do is to teach people how to make these fun cards using the Stampin' Up products that I sell. So if you want to check out any of the links to my social medias like Instagram, my Facebook and my VIP group, which everyone's welcome to join, the links are in the video description. Also, this will be my second last video for May, but I do want to mention, because otherwise it will be very last minute, that there is a starter kit special this month, and I don't think I have the flyer here with me, but basically if you join my team in May and get the starter kit, you do not have to sell or run a business. You can simply take the VIP discount for yourself, basically, which is 20% off all future orders. But this month is an awesome month because if you join, you normally get to choose $235 of product for just $169, so you get $66 free product. But this month, in addition to that, they've got a joining offer. So you will also get, on top of your $235 of your choice of supplies, you also get a pack of 5 of the new ink pads in the new ink colours, and you also get a 5-pack of the matching Stampin' Wrap markers. You get a pack of the In Colour Designer Series paper, which is this one here. So it's got little patterns of all the colours, and you also get the fourth one is, I'm totally forgetting, and it's going to be something really obvious. Hold on, let me bring it up. Oh, sorry. You also get a mixed pack of the A4 cardstock. So you're getting a whole bunch of product for free, which is valued at $144. So if you add all the freebies in, you get $210 of freebies for just $169. So pretty cool. So that one's worth checking out, and it's linked in my video description. So thanks Leanne for my ring bound catalogue. I'm loving it. These do not come like this when you request a catalogue. It's just that because I use mine so much, it's handy to have it on a ring binder. So this weekend I've decided to use a new suite from this gorgeous new catalogue, which is all the new products that are now available in my online store, link below. And if you don't have a catalogue and you're in Australia and don't have a demo, let me know and I can definitely send one out to you. You get a little gift for your first order. And I give a customer gift every month, but the first order is special. So this one is the suite that I'm using for my card. If you go to the free PDF download, the bottom of that, there's also an alternative card I made with the, I'm not up with the names yet. So I made an alternative card for my father with the Take to the Sky suites. This one's a really cool masculine suite, or not masculine. You could do some fun adventure cards, scrapbook pages. You can even make funky girly coloured planes. It's totally up to you, but I made one with this suite as well, but you'll see that in the PDF and probably on my blog. So these are the products. This is Country Woods, and it comes with 2 different bundles and also this 2 packs of DSP. So it's quite a big suite, it's a mega suite. It has some beautiful pearls, an embossing folder and the ribbon. So today I'm going to use both bundles, the embossing folder and the Country Woods DSP. So there's also Country Lace, but I'm not using that today. So those are featured on page 50 to 51 in the online catalogue. Oh, catalogue, you can go online and check them out as well. Okay, so I have pre-cut some of my supplies and measured them out, but I'm going to go through the score lines with you. I unfortunately only have this card in metric. I probably would have converted it if I could, if I had time, but this month I do not. But it would be pretty easy to convert yourself. I think it would probably look good in a 5x7 card, if you could give that a go. It's not too hard once you see how I make it. Okay, and by the way, this was inspired by, I can never say her name, Shruti Patil, I'm not sure, but she does really cool, just like 3D fun designs. So I got the idea off her. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need is a basic beige or any colour you like, but this is a new colour. So it's not an in colour, it's just a new colour that Stampin' Up have released their basics collection. So I'm going to use the basic beige, and I have cut this to 16 by 29 centimeters. Now, if you did the same card in inches, you would need to use a 12 by 12 piece, because the length of this is longer than 11 inches, so you wouldn't get it out of your normal sheet of paper. But you could adjust the measurements as well. Okay, so I'm going to pop this into my trimmer, and I want to do on the 29 centimeter edge, and I'm going to score along here at 12. I'm hoping this is in camera view. So I'm going to score at 12, make sure that's lined up. And then I'm going to score again at 24. Where's the 24? And that's going to give us our little fold over bit. So it should look like that. And that's what you want to have. Okay, so I'm just going to put the trimmer to the side. This is going to form our fun card base. So I'm just going to fold that one in. Just reinforce that with the bone folder there. And then this one is going to fold in this way, and that's going to create our little flap. So this actual card is called a, well, I think it's called a hidden double flap card. So you'll see how that comes together and how the mechanism works in a moment. So what I want to do though is actually add my DSP first, because once this gets stuck down for the mechanism, you sort of want to have that bit done already. So I've got some pre-cut DSP here. This is from the Country Woods DSP, and I need two of these pieces. One will be for the inside here, and one will be for the front of the card. And these are cut to 11.8 by 15.8 centimeters. Now this one here that you'll need is cut to 15.8 and technically 7.5, but I was a little bit shy on the card stock, the DSP I had left, so I was going to try and make this one work, but I would definitely cut yours to 7.5. Mine's just shy, but it's going to work. I'm going to make it work. Okay, because I wanted to use the same designer series paper. Now I think I've cut this one a little bit too high, so I don't know what I was doing with my measurements when I cut these. So just, what is it? Check twice, cut once or something. Okay, so that's a bit better. So I want to adhere that down. I'm wondering if I cut this one, I could do with a little bit taken off. I always go by the measurements, and then if it doesn't work, I just get my nifty trimmer out. Okay, so I can stick these two into my card. So I'm just going to add those to the middle first. And this one's going to stick just here, and we're going to want the pocket to go a little bit over the top of that, so just make sure it's hidden when that flaps over the top. Now I'm going to pop this one down as well, just on the left hand side like that. And then the other piece can go onto the front of the card. Now I'm just going to check and see if I measured that wrong. Okay, just going to cut a wincy bit off that and check that out. I was being a bit conservative there. I like really thin layers, but sometimes it can be a menace when it comes to making sure it all fits, because you don't want it to hang over the edge. So I'm just, oh, I thought I had my phone buzzing. I hate that when I'm filming. Okay, this is why I love liquid glue, because if I want to move it, just I've got a little bit of time to move it if I need to. Okay, so that should be good. So now we've got this happening. Now I want to just check I'm doing it right. Okay, so now we want to adhere this flap down. Now you want to be super careful with how much, I like using liquid glue. You could use thin tape, but you do not want to add too much, because you only want a thin line across the top here, the bottom of that flap, just there. And then we want to adhere this down. Okay, now I've got a piece of designer series paper. For some reason I have cut these all too long, so I'm glad that I have picked up on it. Make sure that fits nicely. So this one was cut to 15.8 by 4.8 centimeters. I'm thinking you could probably take an extra mil off, because it seems to be a very tight fit. I'm not sure what I was doing when I got those measurements. Okay, so that's basically all the designer series paper stuck down. We've just got 2 more pieces which go onto the mechanism. So I need to show you how to make that. So I've got these pieces cut out. So I've got some DSP for the front of my mechanism to decorate it, and then 2 bits of basic white for the inside. But these are the pieces that we want for the mechanism. So these ones are both cut, they're different. The smaller one's cut to 7 by 10 centimeters, and the slightly larger one is cut to 7 by 11.5, because we'll need one of each for each of the mechanisms. Okay, so I'm gonna bring my trimmer back in, and with the larger ones, the one that's 11.5 centimeters, I want to put the 11.5 at the top, and I want to score this one at 1.5 centimeters and also at 10 centimeters. Basically, this one is scored at, I've got very shaky hands today, at 1.5 on either side. So you should have a piece that looks like this. The smaller one, which is 10 centimeters by 7, I'm going to pop up on the 10 centimeter side here and just score it at 1.5. So I'm just going to do it on this end because it's easier. So you should have a piece that looks like this. Now I'm just going to quickly repeat that with the other 2 here. So 1.5, and then this one is, I'll just do it this way. This is the other way you can do it. You don't have to do measure out. You can just do 1.5. Oh, yeah, sorry, I thought I was doing the small piece then. 1.5 at either end, like that. Okay, so that's as easy as the mechanism goes. Now what we want to do is we're going to have one side of this is going to fold under. So I want to fold that under. So this is the large one. Now I'm going to leave that one. So get the other large one, fold that bit under, like that. And then this one here, that's only got 1 score line, I'm actually going to fold that under on this side, like this. Okay, so then we'll grab the other one, fold this under. Actually, hold on. What am I doing here? Yes, that is correct. I was confusing myself then. Okay, so you should have 2 pieces like this. So this one's just got it folded under on the left-hand side, and this one here is folded under on the right-hand side, like so. Now, this bit is actually super easy. What we want to do is actually get our liquid glue, and I'm going to pop it on the bit that we didn't actually fold under. So I'm just going to pop some liquid glue. Now with this one, I'm going to place this right over the top so that that score line goes on top. And what it's doing is creating a little booklet fold, a little book that opens the wrong way, basically. So you want it looking like that. So it should open, and this piece here should still be tucked under. So I'll do this with the other side. I don't know why I was telling you to tuck that under, because you don't, it goes back this way. So ignore that instruction. So it should fold, well, it technically is under, it's just easier to do that and then fold it back and reinforce it like this. Okay, so that is the 2 mechanisms. So basically we're ready to go. They both open this way like so. So I hope that made sense. Now we can open up our little card here now. And what I want to do is actually just, now that should have dried enough. I like to put a bone folder in there and just go like this so it opens up the pocket a bit. which is helpful when you're putting the mechanism in. So make sure you've got the mechanism facing this way, so the fold is opening like that. And then we just want to pop that into the pocket. Pull this bit out for now. And then you want to just move these around until you're happy with the placement and they're not too close to the bottom where this ends. So it can be a bit of a tight fit at first, but once you shuffle them around and get that working, it's all good. So I'm pretty happy. There's a tiny little gap in the middle, but we've got room on either side. So once you're happy with that, then we're going to add some glue on these little side flaps here. Okay, and then I'm going to close the card. Now you want to give that a really good press so that it adheres. Now I will leave that for a second because I don't want it to, I want to make sure that's well stuck. Okay, so while I do that, I'm going to explain this bit. I have cut a piece of Summer Splash cardstock, which I did not write down the measurement. It's 9.5 centimeters by 13 centimeters. And what I have done is run this through the eyelet embossing folder, which is the embossing folder that comes with the Country Wood Suite. So I ran it through and embossed that, so I didn't have to bring the big machine in the picture. But I've also gone with some Summer Splash ink and a blending brush, so one of these. And I have just gone around the edges and just lightly over the top. And what that did is help to darken it and add a little bit of definition. So that's going to go onto the front of the card. But what I want to do is just stress this top corner. Now, because I've run this through an embossing folder, and that sort of breaks down the fibers as well. So you've got to kind of be a little bit gentle because you don't want to tear that corner off. And now I spoke about it, I'm really worried it will happen because that's the sort of thing that would happen on a video. But I'm just going to gently tear those fibers apart and then give it a bit of a roll with my finger. And then I'm just going to bend it back. So I'm getting really quite messy with it. Now, what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of glue because I just want to, I didn't want to add a staple to this one. So I've just added a little bit of glue to help hold that corner down. Okay. All good. Now, the bit I've also done ahead of time because I needed it to prep the front of the card is I cut out of Basic Beige, I cut this largest circle eyelet die from the Everyday Details dies. And I've cut that out of Basic Beige. And what I have done is grabbed some Basic Beige ink from the new ink pad. So I've grabbed this one and I popped some on my brush and I've just gone around the edges. If you can see, it's a little bit darker on the edges and then it gets lighter in the middle. So that's what I did to prep that one. And I thought I would share this live because I started doing it and then realized I should actually show it. I like to add some hand stitching because it's already got the pre-cut holes. So I always forget what this stitch is called, but I'm just going in the hole and then I'm bringing it back up and going through the end of the hole that's already got the thread. And then I'm going to continue. So thread that through and then go into the next hole underneath. So underneath and up and then back down into the previous hole. So that's, it's like running stitch or something. I'm not sure. I'm not really good with sewing terms. So I'm just going, I did this and went all the way around the circle. I'm a little bit obsessed with these everyday details dies. They've also got rectangles. They're very handy, basic to have in your stash. So I think they're $60 from memory, but they're worth every cent. I absolutely love them and I've used them lots. Okay, so this is up through the first initial hole that I went through, back under, and then you've got the two threads together. So I'm just gonna use my scissors to cut that extra thread off. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of tear and tape to hold those ends down at the back. So you should have a stitch circle that looks like that. Now, I'm not sure if on the original card I did, but I'm going to do it anyway. I might grab a, tough decisions. I might grab Pecan Pie Stamping Wrap marker and just spritz a little bit of ink because you're not really going to see too much of it. So that piece is done. Now, I might see if this is dry. So let's open the card. Yep. So those two pockets pull out. So this one's coming out a little bit more than the other one, but that's okay. Might also be where they're positioned, but they're still definitely working. So I think this one is stuck higher up, which is really weird. Okay, so now I'm going to finish decorating in here. So I want to, gosh, that is a bit annoying. Let me just check. Really weird. It's like it's stuck higher up. Now I'm getting all risky. Don't do what I do. I really want that to be in the same spot. So I must have just moved or shuffled that one as I stuck it down. So I'm just going to add a little bit more glue. And I'm going to use that to line it up. So I really want them to be in the same spot. Now they should fold back like that and still go in okay. This one here I think is what's causing the problem because it's not quite short enough for some reason. We still need to be able to fold the card shut. Now I found that it does take a couple of times just to open and shut it, just to get the mechanism sort of worn in a little bit, okay? So now we've got our little pieces. I'm going to grab these bits of DSP that I cut. These ones are cut to 6.8 by 8.3 centimeters. And that's sized just perfectly to go on the front there. There's all kinds of gorgeous wooden patterns in the Country Woods paper. It's definitely a winner. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that one on there. And then we've got the decorated fronts to the flat pieces. Now, as I said, it does take a minute to wear these in. You want to make sure nothing is catching. So I love it how I can do a perfect one first go and then I come on live and it's going to be naughty. So I haven't added quite enough glue to the corner. You do not want bits that stick up because they will not slide back into that pocket nicely. So I'm just going to make sure that they are well stuck and leave that open for a second. So I've got these two bits of basic white as well, and they're cut to the same size, so 6.8 by 8.3. Now with these, I'm going to add a little bit of blending. So I'm going to add some basic beige, and I'll grab my blending brush and just go around the edges on these. I'm being a bit quick with this and heavy-handed, but you get the idea. So I've just got a little bit of blending. I love that blending makes it a little less stark and bright white. I'm just adding a little bit of vintagey softness, which goes really well with that Country Woods paper. Okay. I want to bring back in that marker, and I'm just going to add a little bit of spritzing magic to those. And then I'm going to do a tiny wincy bit of stamping. So with the Country Birdhouse stamp, which I didn't show these at the start, but this is these are the two stamp sets that come in the suite. So it's Country Flowers and Country Birdhouse. They're absolutely beautiful. You can buy the whole suite as one big item number, or you can buy these individually. So these are bundles, which when you buy a bundle, you get 10% off. So buying the products individually is a bit more expensive, so it's definitely worth grabbing them in a bundle. So these are the beautiful dies that go with the Country Birdhouse, and it has individual dies where you can build a birdhouse without stamping, which is really cool. And then the Country Flowers bundle comes with these beautiful dies here, and I have been playing with this like crazy because it's absolutely gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is grab the Country Birdhouse stamp, and I want to stamp couple of these images here. So I'm just going to bring in a block, and I'm going to use some blends. So I want to grab my Memento black ink. I'm just going to stamp my little flower in the bottom corner there, and then I'm going to stamp a little birdie up here. So they're the two images that I want to use. I'll let those dry for just a second, and I can come back to that bit. So I'm just going to close up my card, and we'll colour those in just a moment. But what I do want to do first is actually decorate the front of my card. So all I need to do for this is that will be stuck on there, but I've also got this circle which I do want to add, but I'm going to add some thread, and that's the bit I want to do before I stick that back down. Now in the what do we call it, supply list, I have listed the Pecan Pie center stripe ribbon. And you may go, where on the earth have you used that on the card? Well, I've actually pulled the threads apart. So I love doing this to ribbon. It's one of my favorite things. Now I'm just going to create a bit of a loop there in the middle and place this down onto the Summer Splash there and work out roughly where I want it to go. So I'm just going to move the threads around a little bit and work out roughly where I'd like things. I've got a little bit of glue on my fingers, which makes it tricky when you're trying to do things like this. Stay there. Okay, so if I know I want it to go there, I'm pretty happy with that. The reason I didn't want to stick is I'm actually going to use some staples to help hold this down. Now I'm sort of putting the staples in some inconspicuous spots that I know you will not see, so I'm just using a few staples there. That should be enough because this is going to go right over the top, and I really like the messy look of that. But I am just going to cut, without throwing them at myself, I am just going to cut some of the threads just to tame that a little bit. A little bit of a haircut. Okay. Now this one is going to stick right to my background. Now I will be able to have these threads looking a bit nicer in a moment when everything is stuck over it. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals and just add a few onto the back of that circle. And this will help to tidy up that thread a little bit. You'll never know it's a mess like that behind. I'll stick that right over the top there, and that sort of tidies up those threads a little bit. Now this can go onto my card front now, so I'm just going to add I'm throwing things everywhere today, so I probably should have used my other glue because this is my fine line glue, which it only comes out in little bits in this one. Okay, so I'm just going to add that to the front of my card, and then if you've got any stray little bits of thread, you can tuck them in or pull them out. This one here is just being a pain, so I'm just going to cut it off. It still wants to find me, and I'm moving the whole thing here. Okay, now I have done some die cutting and colouring ahead of time because I try to keep the videos within reason, so I did want to do some bits ahead of time. What I have done is stamped, coloured and die cut all of these images, and even a whole heap of the little flowers. Now it's really cool because there's matching dies for all of these pieces. Now most of the images that I've cut and coloured are from the Country Flowers stamp set. So I have done a little stool, one of these, a bunch of flowers, and yeah, that was it. I didn't use the teapot. And I've also stamped a bird and a heap of little flowers and that flower image there. So I've done that on basic white Memento and coloured them all with a variety of blends, which I trying to list most of them in the supply list, which if you're watching on YouTube, it's also in the video description. You'll find the supplies I've used. Okay, so what I'm going to do to adhere all this down is I'm going to get my little stool first, and I'm going to want my little vase to sit on top, and then my little bunch of flowers. So I know that's how I want it. So I'm going to start building it now. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to my stool and have that one right down the bottom here. And then my little vase here, I'm going to add some adhesive to and stick that onto the top of that stool there. Now with my flowers, I'm going to adhere these with Stampin' Dimensionals, but I actually wanted to add some more foliage. So I got some of the dies from the Country Flowers suite, and they're these little leaves. So I've cut them out of some Lemon Lime Twist cardstock. And what I also did was grabbed some Lemon Lime Twist ink and a blending brush, and I just added a little bit more ink to the edges of these. So that's a good way when you're using flat cardstock to make it look a bit more dimensional, which is really fun. Now I wanted to use one of these big ones here and pop that behind my little bouquet. So I knew I wanted to do that, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue behind there and just have that sticking out like so. So now I can grab some more Stampin' Dimensionals and just adding this to the back. And I've just realized I've got to be careful where you place them because it's really only going to have space at the bottom there. Otherwise it's going to overhang off that circle. So I'm just going to adhere it like that. Okay, so I also want a little bird. So I'm going to pop a little bird down here, and I'm going to pop him on a Stampin' Dimensional as well. He's just going to go down like that. And then the last bit for really decorating the front of the card is I wanted a sentiment. So I have stamped the Hoping You Have the Best Day Ever on some basic beige cardstock. And that one I'm going to stick right over the top with some Stampin' Dimensionals as well. So I'm just going to add probably 3. And I'm doing them sort of towards the center because I don't want to have the dimensionals overhanging the circle. So now I'm happy with that. I'm just going to place that one down. And then I'm going to add a couple of the little flowers that I have stamped and coloured in. So I'm just sort of working out where I might like them. Probably a bit like that. So I'm going to go in and add a little bit of, oh, I've got the shakiest hands today. There's another. Sometimes you just get bits of this string that just do not want to sit in there, so just cut it off. I love the look of frayed ribbon, but sometimes it can be a little bit more painful to work with, but it's worth it. Okay, so I've added in my flowers. Now I'm going to take a Wink of Stella brush, which I forgot to mention. I did actually go over my coloured in flowers with Wink of Stella, so they're a little bit sparkly, but I want to add some Wink of Stella to my background as well. Now, the last thing I did to embellish the actual card front is I've taken some of these 2024 to 2026 in coloured gems, and I'm just going to grab some of those and pop them onto my card with the pre-die cut flowers. So in the dies that go with the Country Birdhouse, I believe. Actually, no, it is the Country Flowers one. They've got these adorable little flower dies, and I've cut those out of some Summer Splash glitter glimmer paper that's also in the new catalogue. Now with these ones, I'm just going to tuck a few in just to add some sparkle to the card. So I've got flowers everywhere, but it is country flowers, so it's totally appropriate. So I'm just going to stick a bigger one and a smaller one just up there, and I might even stick another one down here. So I'm just going to stick that one down here. Then once I've got those stuck with glue, I'm going to add probably, these are adhesive anyway, but when you add things to glitter paper, it does struggle to stick. So I'm going to use a Petunia Pop shimmer gem, and I'm just sticking them on top of those flowers, but I want to have the extra glue there because when that dries, it will make sure that these stay on those flowers because they just do not like to adhere. You could also use a glue dot, but I just prefer liquid glue. It'll only take a minute or two and that glue will go tacky and make sure they're held on. So while I wait for that to dry quickly, I'm just going to show you how I coloured the images on the inside of the card. So I have grabbed some lemon lime twist ink, as well as a blend, as well as a dark pool party. So this is the dark of both. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of the dark lemon lime twist to some areas of my bird. And then with the dark pool party, I'm just going to run that colour right over the top and blend it together. So it's a nice blue and green looking bird. It's really cute. So I'm just going to make sure all that colour's nicely blended. But you don't want to oversaturate the image either, otherwise it will bleed. And might just add a little bit more green. Sometimes when you add the second lighter colour, it does tend to, you lose some of that definition. Now, I did forget. Now I'm going to take my dark pumpkin pie and just give him a pumpkin pie beak and just very carefully colour those little feet. Okay, so I want to add just a little bit of colour to my flower here. So I'm going to grab some dark lemon lime twist for the leaves. And then I will do, what have we got here? Petunia pop. So I'm going to go with the dark, just at the bases there. Now I'll quickly blend, add some light lemon lime twist to these leaves. So these are only 2 tiny images, so they're pretty quick to colour. And then I need my light petunia pop and I'll just blend out that flower. Like that. And then if you want to go back in and add some more dark, you can. Okay. Now those images those little bits can get stuck to the inside of these flaps, and that gives you somewhere to add your greeting and write a little message. When I made these for my parents, I actually, inside these flat pieces, I had the bit for the writing, but I also added a cute family photo and picture of us with them on the right hand side. So it's a great way to have a little interactive card where you could add a picture. So I'll stick that one there. And that's the insides of those cute little flaps done. Now I'm going to add a little bit of decoration. The inside should be right to dry like that. I'm just going to add a little bit of decoration down here. So I want to add another one of the pots, and I'm going to add that on this side. I do not want to add dimension because this is going to be the inside of the card. We don't want to make it so you can't open it. So I'm just going to adhere this little pot down the bottom here. Now you don't want it to go over this side here and not over here as well, because it will stop the card shutting. So you want to make sure with this piece you've got it inside that column. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue and then stick. Like so. You can give that a second to dry. But I'm going to add the rest of my embellishments in the meantime. So I did actually realise I wanted to add some of the foliage like I added on the front. So I'm just going to see if I can lift that up. I just have to be strategic in where I place it. So I'm just going to lift it up and see if I can carefully place it in there somehow without going over those edges. Okay. Now I've got this little coloured flower piece here, which I took from the Country Birdhouse Suite, and I'm going to add that one down the bottom here and then tuck in a couple of the leaves. So I did cut quite a few of these leaves with the intention of adding them in here. Now I'm going to add one of the little flowers and a little leaf coming out there. Okay, and then I've also stamped this Sending Love sentiment in black on some basic beige as well. And I'm going to pop this down in the corner. Now, the original one, I did have a happy birthday, so I thought I would change this up and do sending love. I like to try out all the sentiments in a set if I can. Okay. Sticky fingers. Now, I'm just going to add another one of these Summer Splash little flowers down here. And then I'm just going to add a couple of the little pink flowers that I've got floating around the card everywhere because they're super adorable. Pop this one down here. Then I might do one over here. Okay. Now I do have extras of these leaves, so part of me just wants to not waste them and just tuck them in, make it a bit extra. So I feel like if I put them in the stamp case, they never get used. Okay, pretty. Now I think all I did was I did actually add a little gem, so I added a little gem to the center of this one. Now I wonder if that will stay for now. I can always add glue if it doesn't. So now that should all tuck in. And there you have it. That is the done hidden double flap card. So super fun. That all folds out. A little bit of glue stuck there like that. And then you just fold it back in. So as I said, it does take a minute for that mechanism to work, but it's really cool. They open it and you could have photos on the front even and something that says to lift. But really super cool and super fun. So it's actually quite an easy card to make. The measurements are pretty basic. Now I didn't actually, so technically in inches, this is 4 3/4 of an inch wide by 6 1/4 long. So really to convert this to imperial, you could just do a 5x7. Yeah, I'd be inclined to make it a 5x7 card, and then all you need to do is work out, I'm trying to convert it with you live, so I probably shouldn't, but to make the mechanism, it would be pretty easy. You just need a couple folds and you need to make sure the width this way is only going to be like this. So you want to have room for it to go under, but the actual mechanism is pretty easy. It's just creating a piece with the 2 score lines on either side, which if it's 1.5 centimeters, it's probably something like 3/4 of an inch. But yeah, super easy card to make, super fun. I love interactive cards. I did need to hand make an envelope with this, but I always recommend Jackie Williams, the New Zealand demonstrator. She has a really cool tutorial on how to make envelopes really easy. So I did hand make some envelopes for the ones I gave away, and it was a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this card. I didn't really show it up close, but be sure to check out the PDF download where it has another sample using the Tape to the Sky suite. So happy Saturday, have a lovely weekend, and I will see you guys back next week with another interactive card. Sort of interactive, but yeah, pretty cool. So have a lovely week, guys. As always, thanks for watching. If it's your first time, hello, and please do click subscribe and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. Bye.